ever since I was a kid, I've been overly social. It's gotten me in trouble my entire life, even up until, some of my first careers. I spend more time lollygagging. Well, not lollygagging, but walking around talking to other people as opposed to actually doing work. I just have this thirst to know people, and it's not just to know like what they're doing at the moment, but I want to know about people's lives all the way going back to their childhoods. I'm just fascinated with people, and it's always been something that has been a part of me, and it comes really naturally to me. So I feel confused when people tell me that they're introverts or that they're not comfortable around people, because it's always been like my thing. Being in the advertising industry, you make money by making other people's work better. You make money by making other people's products successful. I guess I had this jealousy of like, why are these people coming to me, and why am I putting my time and effort into their projects? Like, where's my project? So this idea really got me buzzing and confused. So that's when I kind of started getting into startup culture and reading more and more about startups. And the reason I fell in love with that kind of culture is because it just sounded like the complete opposite of advertising. So advertising is like this glamorous, glitzy industry where people have huge budgets. You've got these super nice, sick offices, and you've got the top of the line kind of furniture, and it's just it's overcompensating for something. And so these startups, though, they're kids my age that are growing long beards because they don't have time to shave because they're working 12-hour days on something that they're building. They're full of passion. They're trying to build something to better the world or better a problem that they have seen. They want to find a solution to it. They're making stuff for that reason only. The money's not fantastic. The hours suck. But it's just like a mixture of being a musician and almost being a hustler, like street culture, and then technology. And so I loved it. I was fascinated by that, and I got obsessed pretty much with this idea of creating something on my own. So She Wears Your Tee was this T-shirt advertising model where this fashion model would wear your shirt for a day for a price. And we thought of the idea. We were inspired by another guy that was doing something similar to it. We were inspired by this calendar system. We were inspired by Tim Ferriss and the 4-Hour Work Week. So we built this thing, and we built it fast. And our goal for it was to be an automated income stream. We wanted to make money without actually working. We wanted to make money by doing as little amount of work as possible. That's something that I found just doesn't work for most people. It actually just doesn't work. Hard work and determination really are what make money. But regardless, so we built this thing up, and it got picked up by the news outlets, the Huffington Post. We got an AOL Style News. We got an AOL Style Watch. We got in all these different publications, and soon enough, we're making money. We're making lots of money. We create the thing January 5th, and we're making money by January 10th. So it took us 5 days to start making profit. And every day you could book the model to wear your shirt. So we were in January, and we had already booked up through May or June. So we'd already had 6 months of reservations in 1 month. So the forecast for this thing looked positive. It looked great. We really got to learn a lot about what not to do when you're starting something. It went from being a project that we wanted to do for 4 hours a week, and it ended up being a project that was taking 40 hours a week from each of us. So it's taking 40 hours a week from him and 40 hours a week from me, and another 30 hours a week from the model in New York, and another 30 hours from the photographer in New York. So it just turned into an enormous production, and for that reason, we kind of just had to shut it down. So a year later, I I think of this idea, inbox Cupid, and I think of this idea as using emails to create dates. So we built it, and we built it well, and it started working, and people started signing up, and it started blowing up again. We didn't do any press at all. It was all word of mouth, but we got 1,000 sign-ups in the first week that we went live. We ended up landing articles in Mashable, in Glamour magazine, in the Star Tribune, in the Pioneer Press. But I never really wanted to be in the dating industry. So that's when it was really hard, but I had to come to the realization that there was a turning point in the business where it was like I had a lot of people that were interested in working with me. I had a lot of chances to take this thing to the next level, and it was kind of up to me. The ball was in my court. Do I continue working on this thing even though I know that 6 months from now I'm going to lose interest, or do I just respect these people's time, money, opinions, and just bury it? And so I just buried it. I have this really funny story about Twitter. One time I was just hanging out, looking through my feed, and I see that Mark Cuban, who had always been an inspiration and a role model to me, had checked in on Twitter and said, I think his tweet was, "Minneapolis is a beautiful city." So I tweeted him back and I said, "Hey, are you in town?" And he tweeted me back and said, "Yeah." So I had met him previously at a Timberwolves game. He snapped a photo with me, and he remembered my name was @Karimi because I'd, cyber stalked him a little bit. But so he tweeted that he was in town again for a Timberwolves game versus the Mavericks. So I tweeted him back, and he responded, and we started direct messaging, and I told him that I was having a little event at the Bulldog in Northeast Minneapolis. I'm at the bar, and I'm hanging out, and Mark Cuban walks through the door and looks at me and goes, "Karimi, what's going on, man?" And I turned to him like, "Hey, you actually came." We ended up ditching that bar and getting into some other fun activities all over the city of Minneapolis. I remember at one point I was driving my car, and sitting next to me was Mark Cuban. I just remember thinking to myself, what did I do to deserve sitting in this car with one of my biggest role models and one of my biggest idols? People are going to start to realize, or people in my industry at least, people in the advertising or the marketing or the social, or people in the industry that are trying to sell stuff, they're going to realize that advertising is just not advertising. It doesn't exist anymore. What we're really trying to do is be a part of something. People want to be a part of Harley Davidson, and people want to be a part of Nike, and people want to be a part of Red Bull, and people want to be a part of Apple. But I think that those brands have done a good job of becoming their consumer and becoming their culture, and they've done it in an inadvertent fashion. I think in the future, there's not going to be any such thing as advertising. It's all going to be culture, and it's all going to be stories, and it's all going to be becoming someone within this culture. So we talk about spending money on ads. I think that people are going to spend money on stories. I think it's going to become a world where advertising kind of becomes beautiful again eventually. I think that it's headed in that direction where ads aren't distractions or interruptions. They're actually welcomed. Every day I see something that I want to watch that's actually produced by a brand. And I think there's a lot of brands that are doing it correctly right now. I also think in the future that everything we do, whether we like it or not, is going to be public. It's going to be visible by our peers. Mark Zuckerberg said it himself. He wants to be able to express for you everything that you're doing at all times.